Hi, this is Just Listen, hosted by George. Today is August 30th, 2023. I wanted to talk again about immigration policy. I'll call this my part two. I want to focus today on Mexico and El Salvador. Now, I've posted about this before, like I previously told you. So, the policy is based on Congress passing laws to control how people can come into the United States. For many years now, the Mexican border has been a point of massive amounts of people coming into the U.S. Now, what I want to really focus on now is this policy of giving money to countries and then allowing them to come into the country in high numbers. Now, here is something that most people don't know. So while the U.S. population represents about 5% of the total world population, close to 20% of all global migrants reside in the United States. Now, that's staggering, and I'll do a different program about how other countries are doing it. So, Mexico, we do trade with them. They are a good nation, good people. The problem that we keep running into is that when Mexico, and in this case as well, El Salvador, run into problems with people getting hired for jobs, probably with El Salvador having a stable government, everybody runs to the border and comes into the United States. And we need to enforce our laws because it is draining our resources when people are coming into the country in mass numbers. And as you know, immigration is one of the most complicated policies that we have in the United States. And both sides are at odds about how to best do it. Now, Congress has the authority to pass immigration laws, and like I said previously in my other video and in my posting, that's what they've done. And these continual countries having all of these issues is starting really to drain the American resources to house them, to send them to school, and placement in certain parts of the country. I believe that we need to start looking at immigration differently. I think that when you give people money, aid, any kind of aid, there should be some type of expectations. I said that in my previous video. This practice of giving other nations money with no expectations, even if it's for just food, we need to really look at that, and we need to have countries follow our expectations, or we either have to decrease the aid or come up with something differently, because the way that we solved problems 20 years ago is not how we would solve the same problems now. Because if we go back and look at how we threw money at the issue and what the result is, we have a net gain of absolutely nothing. These other countries, governments, they need to give us a plan of what they're going to do with the money. And I've said that twice now, so I won't say it a third time. This is the only way that we can do business now. We do not, in the United States, have money to throw away. And then residual issues come up once people come into the country illegally, and then We have problems with spending resources to get them out of the country. We have problems with people wanting asylum or living with relatives and we don't know that they're in the country. The other problem with that too is that families that are here legally are absorbing illegal immigrants, and then collectively they're draining resources by trying to get people all of this assistance, education benefits, maybe in some cases, etc. That part is just very, very complicated. Now, the last part of what I want to talk about is who gains from people illegally immigrating into the country. Okay, eventually, depending on who's in power, they're going to give people amnesty. Probably. So, we're looking at, like I mentioned in another video, California, Texas, and Arizona. And when I did my posting, I wanted to really emphasize the point of in the next 10 years, the Electoral College is going to look totally different in these states. And if we look at how things have gone in the past, politicians can use that to their advantage, especially in a national election for president. And potentially, like I said, California could have 60 electoral votes because we do the census every 10 years. So it's based on population. Texas could gain more electoral votes. Arizona could for sure. And then the wild card is New York. And if that is allowed to happen, the other party, the opposing party, will never be able to get elected to an office such as the presidency. And we're looking at potentially, because California right now, that's a blue state. Arizona, it goes back and forth. Texas is red, but in 10 years, who knows what that will look like. And New York is a blue state too. And I'm trying to emphasize this notion that in 10 years, the election could be decided in 5 states versus the 50, which was the intention of the Electoral College, so that every state has a say in who becomes president of the United States. So this is George, and this is Just Listen. Let me know what you think.